and this is it. This is like that cheat code towards it. I'm recovering better. It means I can push harder the next day. It helps improve my endurance, my sleep quality, inflammation. It gives you that edge. My overall goal is to be the best fighter in the world, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to become champion, to get to the top level. It's a big game changer when it comes to recovery. And I always say, like, I live for legendary moments. I want to be old and grey, look back and be like, yeah, I've had a cool life.
You've then taken this fight against Brandon Moreno. It was offered to you. Could you was it about 4 weeks notice for that fight?
3 weeks notice, yeah.
3 weeks notice. So 3 weeks notice. There were things that you wanted to work on already with the Charles Johnson fight that you're probably not going to have in that 3 weeks to really put the sort of gas behind. So you've got to take that fight against a two-time former world champion who's ranked, I think, 4th or 5th?
Yeah, he was 6th, yeah.
6th. So 6th in the rankings, very experienced fighter, on his home turf, at altitude, at short notice, and you took the fight, which I think in itself was something of demonstration of your character. Can you talk us through some of that? Like the experience, if you can, behind the scenes of deciding on whether to take that fight, where you were at, and then going into the fight?
The opportunity came up. So this is a weird one, yeah. Obviously, I'm a religious guy. I'm a God-fearing man. And I remember the night before this all happened, I prayed. I was just saying thank you. Because I feel like I'm a very blessed individual, as in, like, you know, where I am today, the people I have behind me and stuff like that. So I was just saying thank you for every opportunity that comes my way. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like people forget to do that. Whether you're religious or not, I think it's important to take a step back and be grateful for certain situations and where you are now. So, and then I remember I get a call from my coach, who never calls me this early in the morning. It's like 6:30 in the morning. I wake up, I'm still like half asleep. He's like, okay, look, we've got offered this thing. My other coach joins the call, my manager joins the call. So we've been offered Brandon Moreno on 3 weeks notice in Mexico City for a main event fight for a 5-rounder. And at first I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? Sorry, again, but what's going on? Do you know what I mean? How has this happened? And obviously you're going to have your doubts, especially coming off a loss. You know, you're going to have doubts, but that's why I back my team so much. They believe in me. We're praying for opportunities before. Then this massive opportunity comes and slaps me in the face. I'm like, nah, you know what? I don't actually want to do it. Do you know what I mean? And I always say, like, I live for legendary moments. I want to be old and grey, look back and be like, yeah, I've had a cool life.
Definitely. do
And this is one of those moments to do that. So as much as you will have doubts, there are more pros than cons. And when that happens, you got to jump at these opportunities. The fact that the UFC came to me to ask me for this opportunity, it means something. So I'm not going to turn around and be like, no. Had a little chat, spoke about it, and then we were all for it. So then we came back on the news, and then it all happened so quickly, you know, having to change. Because I was supposed to fight 2 weeks later. So it wasn't like I was in camp. I felt fit. Obviously, in the back of your head, there's that first 5-rounder, getting tired in that last fight. In Mexico City, where there's supposed to be heavy altitude, you know, in his home turf. So yeah, there was a lot of factors into it, but that just makes for a better story, you know. And I feel like that's the moments I live for, where you can look back and be like, yeah, I've done some cool stuff in life.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
So going into that fight and almost the atmosphere, what were you able to work on before that fight?
Obviously, I went out early. I went out as early as I could once I got my medicals and everything sorted. I was there for 2 weeks to adjust to the altitude and the climate. I worked a lot with a psychologist going into the fight, because like I said to you before the cameras were on, 90% of fighting is mental. So to make sure I'm mentally there, strong, I worked hard with my S&C coach who like, testament to him, made me fit on short notice for a 5-round fight, you know. And then my other coach, Ash Grimshaw and Carton Liu, who just installed such a good game plan that evidently worked really well for the fight. So I have all those guys to thank for that. Remembering that, like, I love this stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's what I love to do. So let's do it.
And I think that's the thing about courage. It's doing those things when you feel the fear. Because if you didn't have the fear, it's not courage.
Of course.
And that's why stepping into those, that's why it is a legendary moment, because all of that, our own psychological turmoil at times, whatever the case, you can step into that and still perform. And you did. I thought the fight was incredible to watch. And again, I come back to, like, the style of fighting is phenomenal. But, like, just to give light to some of your team then, who is it behind the scenes with you that work with you? What are the kind of impact that they've had on you?
So, I have such a good team, you know. I've got Ash Grimshaw, Carton Liu, Brad Pickett, Michael Pham, Glenn Stewart. I've got so many people behind me. Chris, who I trained with him, my boxing coach, I've known for donkey's years. And, you know, these guys, like, honestly, it feels like I'm a player in a video game. they tell me what to do. When they tell me what to do, it works. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I get surprised. I'll go into a fight, I think like we drilled certain things that we're going to work on. I do it in the fight. I'm like, oh my God, like I didn't expect it to go this well. Do you know what I mean? But it's just a testament to them and their fight IQ in their eyes. You know what I mean? Their ability to see what will work and what will not work. And we will drill it non-stop until the fight day. So yeah, I'm very blessed in that sense. I have such a good team around me and good friends that support me. You know, I was in Mexico City with pretty much everyone in that crowd that hated me or was against me. I don't know if I hate, but yeah. But then I had like 5 or 7 friends come out with me, and they were making so much noise for me. It didn't even matter. Seeing them like cage side, I was like, yeah, this is sick. Like, us against the world. Do you know what I mean? That's how it felt.
Yeah.
Coaches in my corner. Yeah, it just felt amazing. Do you know what I mean? It was such a surreal experience.
So how does the next fight look for you? You're kind of obviously now fighting Brandon Royval, yeah. How do you view that next fight? What kind of things are you looking at for?
Royval, he's good. He's been around for so long. He's been at the top for so long. He's ranked number 4, so he's going to be good. But that's what I want. You know what I mean? If you want to be the best, you have to fight the best. And that's what I'm willing to do. And that's what I'm doing with Royval, you know? And I have the utmost respect for him, but at the same time, I believe that I can beat him. I believe I'm better than him. And I'm ready to show it when the time comes.
It's exciting because obviously you got Conor McGregor on that card as well. Big return for him. So it kind of brings a bit more of an exotic kind of attention to that whole spectacle. But that's great, obviously, downstream for you as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you were to say 10 years ago you'd be fighting on a main card where Conor McGregor's headlining with Max Holloway, I'd be telling you to do one. Do you know what I mean? The fact that this is happening now is insane. Yeah. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
So obviously you've been used in some of our recovery tools recently, the red light and the hyperbarics. What kind of benefits have you seen from doing that with your training?
With the hyperbaric and the red light, it just helps a lot with recovery, going into fights, just making me able to push that next step the next day. Do you know what I mean? Recovery is a big thing for me. Firstly, it helps with sleep. So if I'm sleeping better, I'm recovering better. Inflammation, like I'm 26 years old, but I don't remember the last time I woke up when I wasn't in pain. Do you know what I mean? And it just reducing that, it helps massively. And again, like if that's the case, it means I can push harder the next day and continue to push harder. And I feel like once it gets to a certain level, it's just the little things that can make a difference. And this is it. This is like that cheat code towards it.
What have you kind of noticed in terms of your recovery and performance so far with it?
With the hyperbaric chamber, I notice a lot. It helps improve my endurance, which is a big thing for me, and it's something that I've always wanted to improve. It improves my sleep quality, like inflammation, and it's a big game changer when it comes to recovery. It's about the 1%, and this is definitely something that I feel like is a massive cheat code for that. So yeah, I'm very, very happy in that sense. Obviously, you got your hot and cold treatments and stuff like that, physio, which all goes into it. This is relatively a new thing for me, the hyperbaric thing, and I feel like it gives you that edge because not many other athletes do that. So that's what I mean about that cheat code, because there's not many people that do it. It feels like I've got like a little edge over them. I'm very thankful that you guys reached out to me and we're working together now.
Yeah, we worked with Ben Whitaker as well, and he was saying in his last camp with red light specifically, he noticed that the pains he often gets in his hands and his wrists was like a lot more reduced. So like he's seen that as an impact, and I wonder like how that affects, have you sort of noticed?
The reduction in pain with red light has helped massively through DOMs, little niggles that you get from constant impact, right? In my hands, in my feet, everywhere. It helps me sleep better, because a lot of the time when I'm sleeping, I'll wake up because something will be hurting. But I feel like I do that less now because of the red light. And it just helps me get a better sleep, which therefore makes it easier for me to recover and then push next day in the training. So yeah, it does help massively with that.
I'm always fascinated, like I often think people that are very good at certain things often become so second nature to them that they almost forget how good they are at that thing, that they're looking at the next thing to improve on. And like that whole mindset you have of being able to take on the fight with Brandon Moreno, and I know this is ultimately your profession is to fight, you have to take the fight, it's not like you can't, but the conditions around that fight were particularly unique. But like, what is it you're able to do to create that mindset? I know you're a very humble guy, but there's something in you that is able to, how do you approach that type of fight and circumstance?
So to be honest with you, One big thing is like working with a psychologist has helped me out massively, especially for the Brendan fight. It just helped me like stay composed under pressure. And I also like to think that like as I've got older, I've become very good at just not deep in situations and just kind of going with the flow and think about what's in front of me. What do I have to achieve right now in this second? And then move on to the next thing when that comes. I feel like when you get anxiety, it's because you think about the overall picture and everything that's involved. And then yeah, that can be very scary. Do you know what I mean? I remember when I was younger, I used to suffer a lot with anxiety because I'd always think about the what ifs and the buts. But if you just live in the moment and think about what's in front of you right now, the task at hand, it's hard to think about the what ifs. And then you just keep doing that until suddenly you're standing in a cage with someone that's trying to take your head off on the other side of it. Do you know what I mean? But then you're there and you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But then if you think about the whole thing behind it, it's where anxiety creeps in, you know? So I feel like a lot of people forget to just be in the moment and live in that moment.
It's interesting because we talked off camera about top level sporting performance where you've got very talented people in different categories. And I was telling you that I've followed snooker my whole life, and people like Ronnie O'Sullivan I think is exceptional. But there's a cohort of players that are very talented and can rack up century breaks. But the moment they're in front of cameras, they kind of struggle with that. Yeah. And then you've had in football, a sport that I've followed for years, you'll get your kind of Agueros and Tevezes who are known to not necessarily be the best trainers or the highest performers outside of the pitch. But the moment they're in front of 80,000 people, they can just switch that on. Yeah. Do you see that kind of thing in fighting?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. There's definitely people that like, you know, you have your gym fighters that like are so good in the gym that smash up people in the gym, but as soon as it comes to fight day, they just crumble. Do you know what I mean? And then you have the opposite, people that look terrible in the gym or that don't really train, but then turn up on fight day and they're a different animal. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, they definitely, you do get that a lot in fighting. And yeah, I feel like, again, that anxiety plays into it. For the people that like are so good in the gym, but then can't turn up on fight days because they're thinking about everything around it, not the actual fight. I think it's definitely something that happens a lot in MMA.
Who are your kind of inspirations for fighting? Are there people that you look at and take inspiration from? Do you break down other fighters' techniques, or how do you normally approach?
I don't watch too much fighting, to be honest with you. That's probably a bad thing. But when I was growing up, I used to watch a lot of Roy Jones Jr., boxer. I feel like his mindset was really good. He just like in there, he just looks like he was having fun. He was playing, and he didn't try and do it, be a certain way that everyone would want him to be. He just did his own thing, you know. And then I watched a lot of Israel Adesanya growing up, and obviously he hasn't had the best run right now, but his mindset towards everything is very like, he's just blessed to be in a position where he is, and he's continued to do it. And then I watch people like Ilya Topuria who he believes something, he sees something, he'll make it happen. Do you know what I mean? He says that all the time. And I think that's such a big thing in fighting. If you see it and you can believe it, then you can make it happen. So I'm trying to implement that mindset as well.
Would you do any kind of visualization around the fights themselves? I know McGregor used to say he saw leaning back, I think, against Aldo and then hitting him with the left hand. And obviously that's what kind of enacted. But I think he even says it. I think he says it in the weeks leading up. Is that kind of part of it? Or
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I feel like whether you work on visualization with someone or you just visualize when you're training. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, when I run a lot, I visualize because it helps me like get through that running. I like to think visualization like a movie. You don't have to visualize the whole fight because that's when you start to panic, and then if it doesn't happen in the fight, if you get upset, that's when you can get caught up on things. But you film movies in little segments, and that's how I feel like you should visualize a fight, like little bursts of moments in a fight that you would like to do, and you think that can happen, and then just build it up, build the movie from there.
So I know, Lon, you talk a lot, and I love that mindset of just looking and focusing on what's in front of you. But there's probably quietly an aspiration about what you're aiming at overall. So where do you see your kind of career going in the next 2 to 3 years?
You know, my overall goal, I would say, is to be the best fighter in the world. And whilst I'm doing that, to become flyweight champ of the world. And yeah, I feel like those are my main goals to achieve. And I feel like I always said I wanted to do it within 2 years of being in the UFC. And I don't think I'm too far off now. Hopefully get a good win on July 11th in Vegas and then see what's next. but I don't think I'm that far away from touching that gold belt.
And when you say the best fighter in the world, what does that kind of look like for you? Because I know when I watch you, and I'm not an expert in fighting, but you have a particular style I think is really engaging. Is that something that you see in terms of like being a successful fighter? It's obviously an effective style, but there's an elegance about the way you fight. How do you visualize being the best fighter?
For me, it's just, you know, to be the best fighter in the world, I want to be the best version of myself. And my overall goal is to be feared everywhere, you know, striking, wrestling, grappling, where no one can turn where they're better than me, you know. And I feel like that is a very hard thing to achieve, but I do believe I can achieve it. And I have the best team around me to do that. And yeah, I'm excited to keep getting better. You know, I feel like that's the best thing about this sport, that you're forever learning, because there's always going to be a counter for a counter for a counter, whether it's striking, jiu-jitsu or wrestling. So yeah, I just want to be the best version of myself, and I see myself being the best fighter in the world.
It's amazing to go on this journey with you because you have all the tools and ingredients to do that. I wish you every success. Thank you.
AMG, Billy truck, trapping out the ghost. 7-figure payment, time is money, gotta go. Addicted to the game, the game for the show. Met her at the party, she was playing with a big dog. I could get the